Welcome back to another video tutorial on FreeCAD software. Today we are going for part modeling using part design workbench of FreeCAD software. As you can see in this particular slide, the front view, top view and side view of a particular part is given. So when we are planning to make the part model, what we have to do, we have to imagine that how this part is exactly going to look like if the front view, side view and top view looks like the given image. So what we are going to do, let's say I'm starting from the front view. What I'm doing, let's say I'm trying to imagine that if the front view looks like this is a freehand drawing I'm trying to make. It may be a little bit wavy, and from the top view actually we are going to get idea of the thickness of this part model. So it is basically going to look a little bit like this. I need to use the eraser. And as you can see, there's a slot is actually here. So around the middle plane, we are having a slot too. Something like this. Similarly, we are having a slot over here. So if the part looks like this, then how exactly we can start making it? We can start with the front view in the front plane, and then we can give it a particular thickness, and after that we can go for cutting out this slot out of this. So if I'm following this, let me just show you in the FreeCAD software how we can draw this, how we can make this. We are using FreeCAD 0.21.2 version to create this part model. Now, FreeCAD is basically an open source software and it is free. So I'm starting from the start pull down menu and I'm going for part design workbench, going to new, and here I'm going to start the part modeling. So starting with this sketch, create sketch. As I have planned to go for the front view first, so selecting the front plane to start the front view. Now, the choosing of plane is optional, but it will be good if you start the front view from the front plane, the top view at the top plane, and the side view at the right plane. So some benefits are there when we are going for the assembly of work. This will be pretty beneficial. So I'm considering the XJ or the front plane. Now here we are starting with drawing a line that is for the base. So this is the line we have drawn over here. As you can see, the line is over constrained. So I have to reduce the number of constraints over here. So I have selected that fixed constraint over here. Also, I'm deleting this horizontal constraint and I'm making this particular point and this particular point with respect to this symmetric and horizontal. So that if I now put a dimension of say 160 as given in the drawing, then this side it will be 80 millimeter, this side it will be 80 millimeter. This is just to make the sketch in the middle of that reference axis. Now next what we are going to do, reference axis. Now next what we are going to do is that we are going to draw two more lines. One is from here, another one is for here. Question is, what is the height of these two lines? So for that, I'm going back to our sketch and whatever our front view, side view, top view is given. As you can see from here is from the side view that the distance from here to here, as in expressed in the side view, is 160 millimeter. So this value is 160 millimeter. You can also find from the front view that the distance between this base and this center line is actually 100 millimeter. This is actually 100 millimeter. And from the center to this is actually 40 millimeter. So if it is expressed in such manner, then we can definitely conclude that this distance is actually therefore 20 millimeter. 140 plus 20 is equal to 160 millimeter. So if I follow this, then this lines are going to be of 20 millimeters. So I'm taking this vertical dimensioning tool and I'm providing it as 20 millimeter, and I'm providing this dimension again as 20 millimeter. Once this is done, the next thing, okay, there is one more constraint which is left. That is, we have to make this particular line vertical. Now we are going for two more lines over here. One I'm starting from this point in this direction. Another one I'm starting from this point in this direction. Now again, to avoid over constraining of this drawing, I'm just deleting this constraint and I'm selecting this point and this point with respect to this reference line. They are going to be symmetric and horizontal. Now selecting this point and this point, and I'm just providing a distance of 20 millimeter as given in the drawing. Next, what I'm going to do, okay, scrolling up and down will result zooming in or out, and pressing the scroll button, if I move it along the screen, I'll get that panning operation. Now I'm going for a circle over here on just that circle center is going to be fixed on this reference line. There will be one more constraint, one more concentric circle over here. I'm pressing escape. The outer circle is going to have a radius of 40 millimeter and the inner circle is going to have a diameter of 50 millimeter as given in the drawing. The next thing is I'm going to draw some lines over here starting from this point, leaving on this line, and another one is starting from this point and leaving on this line. There are several other constraints that we have to make. One is from this center to this distance. I have to provide this distance as given in the drawing as 100 millimeter. Now, the unwanted portions are to be removed from this drawing. For that, we are going for trim operation and just removing this portion. Once it is removed, as we can see, we are having a 20 millimeter fillet over here. So for the 20 millimeter fillet, we are selecting fillet and selecting this circle and this line, circular curve and this line. And now we need to provide the radius to this uh, fillets as 20 millimeter as given in the drawing. Again, 20 millimeter as given in the drawing. One more thing is left, that is we have to provide the fin-like structure over here. So this is that rectangle which has the fin-like, which is basically going to develop the fin-like structure. Deleting this constraint just to avoid making the drawing over constraint, selecting this two endpoint with respect to this line, I'm making it symmetric and horizontal. Now, if we check this particular drawing, what we can find is that the distance from this point to this point is basically 80 millimeter. This distance is 80 millimeter. And this is 21 millimeter and 21 millimeter. Therefore, if we calculate the entire distance, this entire distance is going to be of 122 millimeter. Now, following this, what we can do is that we are going to put the dimension of this line as 122 millimeter. So, this way we are providing the dimension as 122 millimeter. After doing that, as this particular side is of 15 millimeter, so from this point to this point, this point, we are going to make it 107.5 millimeter, and from this point to this point, this dimension is going to be within bracket 100 minus 7.5 millimeter, and this is that dimension. We are going to remove the unwanted portion using trim operation. So I'm removing this portion, this portion, this portion, this portion, this, sorry, again I have to go for trimming. So this portion, this one, and this one. So as you can see that some of the portion of the drawing is in white color and some in green color. The portion which are in green in color, they are basically in constraint condition, and the portion in white color, they are not in constraint condition. So how to make them fully constrained? So for that, say I'm going to make this particular line horizontal, this particular line horizontal, and then say I'm going to provide dimension to this line as 15 millimeter, and then say I'm going for changing this. As you can see, this is tangent, this is tangent, this is tangent. So what we are going to do, we are going to make this tangent as well. So we are making it tangent, and then we are trying to make this thing horizontal as well. And this is how we have now obtained at this stage of fully constrained drawing. Furthermore, as you can see carefully this particular drawing, then there is a 2 millimeter or something fillet over there. So assuming that fillet is of 2 millimeter, I'm considering that fillet and selecting this here and this here. Sorry, we are going for selecting this one and this one. Then again this one and this one. Again similarly, just like we have done previously, we are going to provide the radius of this particular fillet, and say the radius we have decided to put as 2 millimeter. So it is done, but it is no longer fully constrained drawing. So again we have to provide some more constraints. So we are making this particular one horizontal, and then we are going for the distance between this point and this point as say 20 millimeter. So something like this. Furthermore, we are going for equal sign and selecting this line and making them equal with each other. This is how the fully constrained drawing we can obtain. And now we are going for closing this. So this is how we have obtained our sketch. We are going to give it a particular amount of thickness as explained in the drawing. So we are going for pad operation, and this time what is our target is that if we consider this particular drawing, we can see that there is a slot provided at the middle cross section. So let us say the middle cross section has drawn somewhere here. So now if I consider this middle cross section, then if I identify this middle cross section later on, even after this extrude thing, then actually that will be helpful to identify the position of the slot. So for that reason, this particular sketch we are planning to extrude by an equal amount in both the direction. As you can see from this diagram, this distance is basically 140 millimeter. So 140 millimeter we are going to extrude, and that will be um, with respect to this mid plane. So this side 70 millimeter, this side 70 millimeter. That is our target over here. Now, as we can see in this FreeCAD software, how to do that? We are going to click at symmetric to the plane. We are going to provide the dimension 140 millimeter and done. Now next, what we are going to do, we need to make the slots over here. So for making the slots, I'm clicking on this plane and going for sketch. Once I'm going for sketch, I'm using the edge puller and I'm pulling this particular edge and pulling this particular edge. Now I'm going for two more rectangles. One rectangle I'm drawing here, another rectangle I'm drawing here. Now what we are going to do is that I need to avoid this to constraint so that the over constraining can be avoided. So I'm deleting this to constraint. Now selecting this point and this point with respect to this line, I'm making it symmetric and vertical. With respect to again this middle reference axis, I'm making this particular part, this particular rectangle, symmetric and vertical. Now, if you can check over here, the slot is having a length of 40 millimeter and width of 25 millimeter. So if this is so, what we are going to do is that I'm going to make this dimension as 40 millimeter. So this dimension is also going to be of 40 millimeter and the width of this is going to be of 25 millimeter. So we are making it 25 millimeter and we are making it again 25 millimeter. Once the slots are sketched, we are going to close option and then we are going for pocket. After clicking on the pocket, we are going for through all and uh, then we are going for OK. So this is how our part has been created. I'm going to file and saving this particular file, say with some name and save it. So now that the part has been created, firstly, we are going to keep it in the front view format and then we are going to select on that particular part, say the face we want as our front view and then we are changing the workbench from part design to quick draw. This we are doing for drafting purpose. Now here first of all I'm calling a page and on that page we are going for the projected views. If it is in a different direction we can change it. So front view, top view and side view. Now we have to accommodate the entire drawing within this page. So we are going for customizing this just by using a reducing scale of 1:2 and this is the drawing say we have obtained. Now we are going for apply and OK. Firstly, say I'm selecting this particular drawing, going to the model tree and we are going to the hard hidden, converting hard hidden to true so that the hidden lines will be. So again, we are going for this. We can go for creating. This is what we have to do by selecting the existing face. So once we are selecting the existing faces, the center line we can draw and now we can go to the hard hidden and it will be now visible. See that the hidden lines are now visible here. Similarly, in this part also we can follow the same process. We have to select a face actually and after selecting that select the horizontal line, horizontal center line and we can go for changing its hard hidden from false to true for the representation of the hidden lines. Now we can also change whatever we want to write on the title block just by clicking on the green dots. Like the designer name has now changed to my name. We provide if we want to write something, we can go for this option of annotation and just click at the default text, and we can write something here, say side view. We can delete the default text and OK. So by default, that side view term will come over here. Now regarding the dimensions, I have to use the dots with control. So selecting these two dots, if we provide the dimension, we can give it like this. We can go for putting some radius. Say selecting this, I can provide radius. We can go for selecting the diameter. So that way we can provide the dimensions and we can make our drafting page ready. After this, let's save it, and then we can convert it into a PDF file just by doing export PDF. Give it certain name. Now if we check the PDF file, then this way the PDF file can be generated. So that's all from my side regarding the part design workbench and drawing up and making a part model out of the projected views and the drafting of the model. So this lecture is being concluded over here. Thank you very much.